This is Owen McCafferty, brought to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and with me is my good friend and longtime experienced doctor of veterinary medicine, Dr. David A. Tack. And today what we're going to do is talk a little bit about what our experiences have been with the formation of an entity very similar to the partnerships that we will be composing. So, Dave, why don't you just give a short narrative of, without mentioning the name of the entity?
Right. So, for a long time, I wondered what I was going to do with my practice. So we have a successful practice that my wife and I owned, and one of the big problems that I could foresee was if something happened to me, then my practice would go for pennies on a dollar, and maybe a little bit, but so my biggest concern was, can I figure out a way to continue to have this practice go on, have my family taken care of, and I was able to do it. And I got in mainly for that reason, and I wanted to continue practicing. And we found a avenue in which this could be done, and a group of practices got together. And it was from across the country. We formed an organization that ended up being, by the end of it, 74 practices, and did not get into it with the idea of selling it. We didn't for a lot of years. I think we set it up in 2008, and by 2018 or 19, we did sell. But we didn't do it with that idea of selling, and we were able to, during that period of time, my practice kept its identity. People didn't know that I was a part of a group. We were able to grow the practice with economies of scale. We were able to increase our bottom line, and it was just a real enjoyable experience. And I'd like to think that, you know, I knew what was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen. I got into it because I was afraid my family was going to be stuck with something if something happened to me.
That motivation was the basis upon which we formed a group with never a thought of ever divesting ourselves of the asset. We felt that there was a market opportunity so that associates could be brought into ownership in the profession. Never in our wildest dreams did we ever think of selling the asset. Now there seems to be a flip. People are focusing specifically in trying to sell because they think that's the only thing that's left. They won't have a continuity as far as what David mentioned. They want to have the availability of improving that which they have because they're not big enough. The entity that we were involved with was able to use the synergies of income, cost, and expense to improve the earnings level, coupled with, Dave, I think a Socratic exchange where practitioners really did share with each other.
We did. We'd have meetings twice a year, and we'd get all our practices together, and we would talk about, you know, what was working for our practice, what wasn't working for our practice. And it was interesting because there are practices from across the country, and you'd get together, and a lot of times we'd get some good ideas. Sometimes we would listen to what people were doing, go, oh my God, why are you doing it that way? I mean, so it was a lot of give and take, and I think that those meetings, probably more than anything, really improved our practices. It also improved the organization, so everybody was really pretty much on the same page. We again had our own practices. I was pretty much the determiner of my destiny. Nobody came in and told us how to practice, and that was the beauty of it. And so for an individual such as myself that didn't want to get out of practice, but wanted to really grow the practice, grow the value of the practice, really grow the value of the organization. Because with this organization, what ended up happening, used to own 100% of my practice, and now I owned a percentage of, as it turned out, 74 practices. And so it's it was so fortunate to get involved with this, and we as veterinarians a lot of times aren't enough. We aren't business people per se. We're into medicine, into surgery, client communications, but the business side of it, this organization really cleared my head. It made me a better business person. It really made me a better veterinarian by being able to connect with all the different people that were in this organization, and it was a great experience.
And with that, we will be talking in the future about some of the aspects of the items that we learned to do, what was really successful, and what would be some of the things that we would have amended. And we have baked those, we have engineered those into the new partnerships so that we can learn from the successes and learn from the failures. Or maybe not failures, but rather challenges that could have gone in a different direction. So we're very excited that you're joining us. We would hope that you have a chance to hear others in the series. If you remember, our objective is not to bore you with long videos, but rather to give you little vignettes, ideas, thoughts, things that you can play in between seeing patients, maybe playing just the audio as you drive home from work. And join us in this adventure of a new and exciting option for continuation, not succession and divestiture. Okay, on behalf of my dear friend, Dr. Dave Tack, and myself, I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you in a future video.